again, it's a bit of a cliche, but
Right.
you do need to create that sense of purpose in what you do.
I suppose in today's day and age, it's also about a wider reach and a wider network. And people leaving your team on good terms and at higher levels of competency isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
They help bring value to you in other ways.
Yeah.
Versus the older way of thinking of losing your resource. I think as we broaden that network, we've got to learn to see that as a wider base for more resources. Interesting. So what's the secret for you in getting these people to be so passionate about their job that they give the extra? I mean, 30 awards in 3 years isn't something to laugh about. It's also not something that comes by easily.
If I had to pin it on one thing, it would be that social justice angle, that purpose, sense of purpose. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but
Right.
you do need to create that sense of purpose in what you do. I remember reading an article recently about looking at global trends and how companies are always trying to say that they stand for something.
Yep.
They're all these values, these positive values, and they basically that article basically said it's all rubbish. There's no such thing as a company that stands for values.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's all about bottom line.
Right.
But for me, that article just didn't make sense. I read through the whole thing,
Doesn't.
and why can't you have both? Right? Why
I
can't
agree.
you be motivated by both? So, the main way we've done that would be through focusing on that sense of purpose first.
Right.
That your work ultimately is helping to create a more just society. Social
Right.
justice causes,
Right.
right? And that's something that we believe this current generation is very passionate about.
Right.
So we got lucky, I guess. We just when we were pivoting to doing this kind of journalism that helps people, helps society, looks into social causes, that young people really rose up to the challenge and participated in our work, supported our work, and that gave the people who are working, the people working in our team, much more motivation to continue.
Right.
So no matter how difficult it is, and no matter how many offers they get from other companies that double their salaries or whatever, they stay.
They stay.
They stay.
Okay, so meaning and purpose. Now, I haven't read the article that you read, but I'm in agreement with you. I don't understand why they would say there is no meaning and purpose, because my belief is that if your organization can't find meaning and purpose and is only focused on
Bottom
line, you're in trouble, man.
Yeah.
In this day and age, if you're not in trouble with your clients, you're going to be in trouble with your workforce, because with the young people coming in these days, meaning and purpose is so high on their list. It's not even funny. But it's interesting because in your line, you're talking about social justice. So meaning and purpose is really, really high. I think the challenge now is how do we, in a normal corporate world, in banks and in oil and gas and in consumer goods, how do we find meaning and purpose there? And that's going to be a challenge. But I think the takeaway here is that if you cannot, you're really asking for trouble. So somehow you've got to find meaning and purpose.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, completely agree.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about what you enjoy most working with this group of young people.
Wow. I think it's the collective good that we've created. So working with them, they're always finding new causes to champion,
Right.
and when we succeed together, the feeling is amazing. So I think the project that most people remember would be our
My
investigation
Phone.
on child sexual crimes, Predator in My Phone. So the day when we finally passed the law,
Right.
because there was no law against child sexual crimes before
Right.
this. So we did this huge campaign, this huge push in Parliament for it to be passed. The day it was passed, that feeling, you can
Wow.
never replace it. you
Wow.
know. And I still remember because some
Literally helped to change the country.
yeah, and for generations to come, because that law is going to be around for a while. And one of our reporters in particular had left.
Right.
Again, had some better opportunities elsewhere, and we landed on really good terms. And she was very, very key to that investigation. So the minute the law was passed, when we got back to the office, the first thing we did was we did a conference call with her,
Right.
and just congratulated her.
Right.
And then she was in tears. It was a whole scene. It was, but I think, like you mentioned earlier, like meaning
Right.
and purpose that binds young people together.
Right.
That that gives them the ability to do amazing things.
Right.
To achieve incredible change that is unthinkable before this.
Right. In terms of social justice, for example, it's so wonderful that they've managed to make this change, impact to the country and so on and so forth. But it didn't come by like that. There was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of nitty-gritty work, a lot of mundaneness that went into it, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay, so how did you get them to deal with that?
I think it all falls into place. Once we change pretty much all our workflow to fit that purpose.
Right.
So, which means, for example, let's say we're just doing typical documentaries, right? If we don't do it with the purpose, then whoever comes to us with a topic, then we start working from there, right?
Right.
Someone says, I want to pay you to do this particular a documentary on this particular topic. Then we say, okay, then we start doing that.
Right.
But we actually changed our entire way of working based on the fact that we wanted to create social justice. So the way we find topics, for example, we don't take it from clients.
Okay.
We do investigations first.
Right.
We work with civil society organizations,
Right.
with NGOs, with activists, and we get our leads from them. And
Right.
then from there on, we create these campaigns, we structure these campaigns around the cause. So it's not something that you can work backwards.
So it wasn't
you
cosmetic.
have to start. Yeah.
It wasn't cosmetic. When you
Right.
said
That's
that
a
we
good way to
stand
put
for social justice, you really did make all the necessary changes with the systems, the processes, the way things worked. Is that right?
Yes.
And what about